Hello everyone. Hopefully you are doing well today. I'm just making sure I'm getting the last little details squared away. How's the sound doing for you guys? Mike, okay? You can hear me? Yes? No? Maybe? We're good? Oops. Yeah, that's my headphones grabbing something I didn't want to. Haha, always fun. Alright, so today I am going to be painting up my Griffon from WizKids. And of course the camera's on autofocus. So there we go. So it takes a little bit to focus, but as you can see here, I've already done a pre-wash in black. And the reason why I like to do this with my minis, especially the ones with a lot more detail, is it helps bring out those little details that you may not see if you keep it completely white when you first jump into it. So I'm going to be painting this guy up, and I decided I'm going to use a red-tailed hawk's feather pattern to get him painted up because I am absolutely obsessed with the way they look. And we actually have one that flies around our neighborhood every so often. And dude was landing on our rooftop the other day, and I was like, you know what? Let's go with that. Other thing is, I am getting over a cold, so my voice is going to be fluctuating, cracking, going very low sometimes, and I'll be sipping some water every so often. All right, thank you, Jeremy, for letting me know about the sound. So yeah, forgive me for any vocal quirkiness that isn't weird voices, let's put it that way. But yeah, I'm excited to get him painted up. I received him from WizKids, and we don't have a Griffon yet either, so this is going to be really cool to get done. I also did finally get the Vallejo paints that were coming my way after doing the paint class at Origins, so I thought it'd be fun to give those a try as well. And of course I'm realizing I forgot to get one of my palettes, which I thought I had one around here somewhere. So, did I not have? I may have to go behind the curtain. Yeah, I'm gonna grab one of my palettes right here. So that's the plan for today. We're gonna paint the Griffon, get that going, and chances are, just because of all the detail work, he's gonna probably be a 2-show paint because I don't see me myself getting him done in just an hour. So we'll start him here and then we'll keep going with him next week. And yes, the lunch break live stream is going to be a weekly thing. Just because I'm enjoying doing this, it's nice to have some time to jump on, especially because I know I have subs and followers over in Europe. A lot easier for them to jump onto one of these and see what's going on, as opposed to having to wait up late for hangouts and things like that. So figured that'd be a nice little compromise for everyone, and that way I can get some minis off my to be painted list. Yeah, my palette isn't exactly the cleanest thing, but whatever. Hey, Dive Crew Canada, how are you doing? All right, so first thing I'm gonna do is let me show you. I always work from reference pics. It's just how I like to do it. It gives me a sense of looking at what I want to do with things. So I have a couple I'll show you right now. So this is the red-tailed hawk. I really love the redness of the browns that are in here. The paints that I'm going to use, I'm going to do my best to describe their undertones and everything. So if you don't have the exact colors, that's perfectly okay. You can sort of mimic what's going on. But these two pictures give you a really good sense of what this bird looks like. I have some others that you'll see me looking at on my cell phone just because it has different angles of the bird that I want to look at. Hello, big brother. How are you doing? I haven't seen you in a while. Yeah, it's a really cool mini, Jeremy. I agree. It's the pose is dynamic, which I think is fantastic, and the feather details are spot on. So this is definitely one of those guys where I'm excited to start painting him. Okay, so these are the finer detail brushes I'll use in a little bit. Right now, what I want to do is start working on. Here we go. What I'm going to do is actually start working on the back portion first, because that's just going to be a lighter reddish brown. So I'm going to start with, it's called Parasite Brown. Fantastic. I gotta love the name of some of these because you just kind of sit there like, oh, okay, great. Definitely make sure you shake your paints. Always make sure you're shaking. Let's see. I'm doing okay. My lovely children came home with a cold from school, and they decided over the weekend to share it with mom. So mom is getting over a cold. Last night was the phase where no matter what position you got in, you just could not help but cough the whole night. No, you're just in time. I just got started, not to worry. So yeah, that's how I'm doing. But other than the cold, things are going well. Some exciting things have been happening for me with the channel and also with gameplay. I am not only going to be on Mini Terrain Domain for Sunless Citadel, which is, well, we're on tomorrow night, but we're doing a one-shot because Jeremy can't be with us that evening. So we're being joined by special guest Jay, DMJ. He's going to be our fourth, and we're going to be doing a one-shot deal, and I've put a little blinky thing right down in the bottom screen so you can kind of see that. And what else? I was approached by Scraticus. They are on Twitch, another great channel. Going to be doing another one-shot with them. It's got a space theme. This is about all I know about it, outside the fact it'll be on the 27th, which is Thursday, 1 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, I believe is the time for that. And once I get all these details, I'll make sure putting into the description after this is done, not to worry about that one. And then I'm doing another fun one-shot soon as well, but that's also in the works. So once I get more information, I will share that. So it seems I'll be gaming and crafting a lot more this fall, so be ready for that. This is actually a pretty bad season. I mean, the kids have gotten, speaking to Jane, the kids have been sick before earlier in the school year. I don't remember them catching something so soon. My little guy came home Friday night, not even Friday night, Friday afternoon, and had a fever of 101, which was a little startling. So yeah, that was not so much fun. And you know, you try to do the whole wash your hands and everything like that, but at that point when he's come home that sick and you don't even realize he was sick to begin with, it's kind of like, you know, doomed. So yeah. Hey GW Wolf, how are ya? Oh, the owlbears, the pallbears. The owlbears, yes, I have an owlbear too. He's sitting up over yonder, and I do have plans for him. And the joke in our family is that our one cat, Hemingway, who makes appearances every so often in the bloopers, we call him Owlbear because he very often ends up looking like an owlbear. So what I'm going to do is paint our owlbear to look like Hemingway. So that should be fun. I just gotta, maybe I'll do him next as a mini. That could be a fun thing to do. But I thought starting up with the Griffon first would be fun. But yeah, so, you know, the boys are on the mend, which honestly, that's good. You know, thankfully their soccer practices are later on in the week, so one of those things where they'll be definitely better by then. But yeah, beginning of the week, it's one of those things I was like, okay, well, you're well enough to go back, but now I'm not feeling so grand. So I've done a fantastic job of making sure the couch doesn't float away for Monday and Tuesday. Yeah. And probably for a little bit this afternoon too, just to be safe. Let's see, anyone else jump in? Let's see, G says, school, or as I like to call it, the plague factory. Okay, here's the funny thing. When I used to be a teacher, I used 2 sick days, and I wasn't sick for those days. Those were more like days where I had to get to a doctor's appointment. Once I stopped teaching, my immune system went down the drain. So I don't know if it was, you know, being chronically exposed to the plague that helped, but yeah, becoming a mom is when I got more sick than anything else. I owe you a group performance. I know, and I don't have batteries still. I still need to get batteries. I'm so bad about that. Soon. I will make it soon. And then we also have, we have Vince in the chat as well under a different name. You jump around between names. And Ron just joined us. Yes, Ron, I'm definitely feeling better than I have over the past couple days. Thank you. It's just been, you know, weathering the storm. I did find it funny with friends who were like, oh, here's a recipe for a hot toddy. And it's like, that's really sweet. And you know, hot toddies aren't bad, especially when you're trying to sleep at night. But when Hubs is traveling and it's just me and the boys, I really don't like to drink much, if at all. Just because you never know with kids when you have to hop in the car and, you know, go somewhere. So yeah, I've been muscling through and taking my cold medicine, which thankfully has been working. A wolf named Sam. Yeah. Sorry you're sick as well. The blankets sound nice and comfy. That's for sure. So yeah, for those of you who just joined in, I'm jumping into coloring this guy. Well, not coloring, but painting him up with the Vallejo Game Color paint Parasite Brown. It's definitely a blend of sort of orange and lighter browns. So that's what I'm putting on the back portion of the Griffon where, you know, the lion's hindquarters are. Oh, this is going to be fun to reach. Reason why I'm doing the hindquarters first is because they're going to be a little bit easier because there's not too much detail I need to hit. Like this is basically just taking a flat brush and going after it and getting the paint on. And then that way this can dry while I start getting the wings prepped. Just makes it easier. And yeah, you know, some portions of the wash will get covered up by it, but what I find is that, especially if you keep it nice and thin, you'll still see it hovering underneath the coat of paint, which definitely helps when you go back to things. This is just all sorts of interesting nooks and crannies. you see my hands trembling, it's because I had to take my asthma inhaler. Yeah. Because that doesn't jack up your metabolism a little bit. Alright, we're getting there with him. Now for those of you just jumping in again, I'm using the colorings of a red-tailed hawk for this guy, because they're a bird that I'm particularly fond of, and I thought it'd be cool for a griffin. I'd see them done a lot as bald eagles, but I thought it'd be nice to sort of switch it around a little bit and do something a little different. Go figure. I don't think I'm going to do the tip of the tail the same color. I'm going to do a darker brown on the tip of his tail, because I don't want this to be all one unified color. Just make sure I have a bit. Alright, I think we're good in that department, so yeah. Use his butt. Come on, focus. This has been interesting today. Please. There you go. For a second. Fire High, hello! Hello! It's nice to see you. You made it, hooray! I did see one little spot over here where no one's gonna see it, but I'll know it's there. Okay, great. So we're gonna let that dry a little bit, and let me rinse my brush. It has more of an orange undertone to it. It's not a yellow. But again, with red-tailed hawks, they have a lot of red and orange tones to their colorings, which is why I'm leaning more towards those as opposed to cooler toned browns, because I don't want it to steer into a muddied look for the colorations I'm going to do. And undertones of blue can go there quickly, especially if you're using a lot of browns on top of each other. Let's see, who else? Did I get everyone who's jumped in so far? I think so. So thank you everyone for joining. All right, now I'm going to work on his front claws. So that's just, I mean, it's essentially going to be a yellowish tone. Let me see here. I'm going to go for this one first. All right, so on the feet, I'm going to put these names. This is appropriate. Plague Brown. The plague is following me. Literally, it is Plague Brown. Let me get the glare off if I can. Oh, come on. There you go. Yeah. That's the color I'm using now. Too funny. So this is going to go on the front feet where the claws are. Well, not where the claws are, but before the claws. The claws, I'm going to do a off-white ivoryish tone. Okay, so this color is more of like a rich Dijon mustard color. So if that's what you're looking to copy, you want to get a paint that's sort of a mustard tone. Real mustard, not the French's yellow mustard. This is the richer mustard that I'm putting on here. Oh yeah, that's the color I want to work with. That'll work. And again, I'm using a wider brush right now because I'm essentially putting on the base colors. I'm not looking to do fine detail work quite yet. Probably what I'll do this today is get all the base colors down, and then next week work on the more nitty-gritty parts. But this is also why I like to put my minis onto a bottle of some sort, because then you can have them at all these crazy angles, but you're holding the bottle, which makes it easier to grip and then get your paint on. Oh man, talk about nooks and crannies. There we go. And as always, you don't want to go on too thick with your paints. You don't want to fill in the little details because your paints are glopped in there. You want to keep it nice and thin. I always say it's kind of like, think about you're putting on nail polish, but that might not be a universal explanation. Yeah, I could put the name of the colors into the description after we're done with this. And it's all Vallejo paints, because I figured I'd give the kit that I just received from them a go around. They sent me the Game Color line, as well as some other neat effect lines that you're going to see appear in a video I have going up on Friday. And I think, oops, no, we don't want to take that call. Now you know what my phone ring is. So, yeah, I'll put the exact colors up when I'm done. Again, that's something where I tend to put the details in after the fact because sometimes I don't know what I'm going to say. So what I'll do is I'll go back after this is done and I'll rewatch, and where applicable, I'll tag in cards, I'll type in information in the description just to make sure that, you know, when people go back to watch and catch up or whatever it is they want to do, that information's ready for them to go. And right now, I'm not even worried about getting paint colors onto his base because I'm doing a completely different treatment with that. I'm just going to paint it to like stone. Yeah, you got to talk to Vallejo about the paint names because I certainly have no say in that. But it is rather funny that I'm using Plague. Yep, Plague Brown. Which is definitely more of a yellow tone for sure. This one has nothing orange undertone about it. It's a yellowish, if not right out yellow. Okay, now I do want to look while he dries there. Now, contrary to popular belief, that's not the face shot. Here we go. They don't have yellow beaks like you would think. It's actually this white beak with a little bit of black to the front, so I don't think I'm going to be doing that quite yet. Yeah, I'm going to keep his beak more in the grays and whites for sure. Let's see, where do we want to go with from here? Oh, that's right. Okay, so quick little reference pic here that I'm working off of. The underside of their tail and the floof on the chest area. That is, I'm going to go back to that parasite brown. I'm going to put that onto the, I want to say rough. I'm not quite sure of the actual bird name for that area of the body. Alright, so back to parasite. I'm just going to put a little bit more in. Alright, so let's see here. You wish the bases were easier to take off for the WizKids models. Some of them can be tricky, especially with angles. Snotty Fool Green or Baby Poop, which are actual colors, believe it or not. Yeah, some of the bases, they get really tricky. I find utility knives are your best friend for some of those, that's for sure. Just need to take a quick sip. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the parasite brown and put it basically where the feathers start to get smaller on this mini, not the longer ones up by the neck, and kind of capture the coloration that happens on these birds. And I'm looking over at my photo as a quick reference. Okay, so yeah, it's kind of through here. I'm always a big advocate of just grabbing pictures to help you figure out what it is you want to do, because sometimes it just gets you over the hump of trying to figure out what you want to do with them, how you're going to paint them. So it's kind of like the color goes through here and across the shoulders a little bit. Harry Potter bean flavors. That actually would be funny, to have a paint line with the Harry Potter bean figure, being the names, jelly bean names. Oh my god, that'd actually be a riot. So someone with some pull, you gotta get in on that. Switch the name up. Alright, so because of where it's pulling, I'm gonna pull it up a little bit here on the wings, but more on the underside of things. Nothing too crazy, I'm not gonna have it run, because it doesn't run the full thing. No, just a little bit. Little bit. Alright, so a little bit there. Man. Of course, you know those paints would probably sell just because they have the Harry Potter names in a heartbeat. I'm gonna take my too much over here. If you ever get a little bit too much paint on, you can always go back with the same brush and just kind of pull the color off on a paper towel and then go back, and it helps. There we go. Helps thin out where it was too much. This is what I basically use to get base colors on. Base colors, you don't need to worry about being precise. Plus, if you look at your natural photo references, nothing is exactly perfectly lined up and symmetrical. When it goes into finer details, yes, I jump down to smaller brushes. I mean, just like anyone would. This right now is getting the base colors and the base layers on. You might send them an email about their... That'd be awesome. I'd like to see a copy of that before it goes over there. That'd be pretty funny. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the rest of the feathers on the body and I'm going to put that creamy tone on them. Alright, so Fire High says they think they do like a 3-tone wing. Yeah, the wings on a red hawk are pretty interesting. They are mostly underneath, I'll show you here. They're mostly white with some touches of dark browns and a little bit of the mid-tone brown. And then on the outer side, it's darker browns with touches of white. So it's going to be a pretty detailed mini because of the pattern that the red-tailed hawk has. Hi, Allie. Thanks for popping in. You're heading to bed. Lucky. No, it actually sounds like, oh, bed. I wouldn't complain about bed. One thing I do like about these guys is the medicine dropper feature, because you can just drop out a few drops as opposed to splat. That can happen with other paints. So how can we head into bed so early, or are you also across the pond? Alright, there we go. So I'm going to keep it a thinner coat. So essentially what's going to happen is I'll get the base colors on where I need them, and then I'm going to take a brown ink and put it onto everything. So again, it'll bring out the details, and then I can go back in and do the highlighting and the finer details. Once the ink, that's the cold jumping in, the ink has settled and dried, most importantly, because otherwise I'll be painting something and it's going to turn different colors on me, which that's not good. This is a fun angle. See, I never know when to take you seriously, Vincent. Is it your cousin? Isn't it your cousin? I don't know. It will remain a mystery. And again, I'm kind of purposely letting colors blur a little bit into each other, because with the feathers it's not perfectly, yeah, it's definitely not perfectly lined up or symmetrical on itself. Kind of just blurred into itself. So does anyone have this mini or looking to get the mini? Ooh, I forgot a spot of the other brown. To fix that when I'm done with this part. A Muse Wednesday red shirt. Caribbean. Oh, Jesus. Womp womp. Yes, my eyes are blue. Whole side of the family with blue eyes. We all have very intense blue eyes, which for people who are not part of the family and come over can be very unnerving. But they are real. I have had people convinced that my eyes are not really blue. They think I wear contact lenses. Well, I wear contact lenses, but fake ones. No, I don't do that. I wear the type of lenses so I can see and not go blind. I don't wear them to change the color of my eyes. Because quite frankly, I don't have time for that. Get that there, and then I forgot a little bit of the parasite brown. V-Vision. Ah, yes, V-Vision is the GoPro, which I'm getting closer and closer to being able to get. So, hoping for Mace and for PAX, I'll have that handy little tool for when I am recording and hopefully chatting up with a few people who are going to be there that you might know. Chances are a lot of it's going to be record while I'm there, and then if I have time in the evenings, upload the footage and everything. There we go. Okay. Yeah, So you can see it's a little bit of a, there we go. That's kind of how I'm treating it right now. And right now it looks extremely basic, but these are the base colors. These aren't going to be all of the exactness in how this is going to be done, because I'm going to be blending and everything like that when I go back over with a more detailed brush to get the look that I want. Okay, so I'm looking back over here, and essentially what I'm going to do is I'm also going to take this, oh, I didn't say what this color was. This one is bone white, so I'm going to take the bone white and I'm going to put it onto the bottom zone of the wings, except for, let me see here. That's a good question. Yeah, so I'm going to put it all through the wings here, except I'm going to stop about here-ish with it, and that's where I'm going to add on the dark brown, because they have these dark brown tips on the interior parts of their wings on the feathers. So this guy is going to get through here. There we go. Get the other side. Okay, great. That's what I want to do. Okay, so what I did is I didn't completely, because this is where I'll sometimes blend colors, I didn't completely clean off my brush, because what I wanted to do was sort of get it so that the parasite and the bone blended a little bit. So now I'm going to rinse my brush so that way I can go back more toward the true bone white color. You're certain, I just got that. Just got that. That is your last name backward. Yeah, you have prep work for Mace. I have prep work for Mace. Mace is going to be fun. But for those of you who don't know, Mace takes place in Charlotte, North Carolina, and it's happening this year from the 9th to the 11th of November. I will be there. Scotty will be there. Wylock will be there. And there's a few things happening with the three of us. There's going to be a meet and greet. There is a chance where, oh, I got to put that link in. Self-put link in. There's going to actually be a charity game Friday night, so that's the 9th. There's going to be a charity game on Friday where right now there's an auction going on where you can have a chance to bid and potentially win a ticket to sit down and play with myself, Scotty, and Wylock, with Jim Kelly from Game Terrain Engineering as our DM. And the game itself is called One Night in Richter's Cemetery. And it's Dungeons & Dragons 5e. I believe the characters need to be level 7. I have to check with him on that one, so don't quote me completely on this one yet. So that's going to be happening on Friday, and then Saturday you'll have a chance to get mini painting classes with me. We have Crippled God Foundry providing us with minis, so we're going to have the dwarf mini, so that's open to 16 people, and then we're going to have a base mini painting class that's going to be open to up to 24 people. And then Wylock is going to be hosting a game, or DMing a game, I should say. And Scotty is also going to be doing a couple games. He has one Saturday night, which I will be playing in, and Sunday morning, I think? Yeah. So, it should be fun. I'm looking forward to doing it. Okay. Now, I'm really not being too heavy-handed with the paint here, because what I don't want to do is get the feathers filled in too much. Come on. Come on, honey. Sometimes it will play nice and other, there we go. Because what I don't want to do is get all those areas filled in, because I've put that black wash in to help see the details better. So it's kind of like, sort of like dry brushing, but keeping it more towards like the 70%, 80% level of coverage, if that makes sense. Okay. And again, I'm just going to pull this down to the longer ones. Let's say almost all the way down, but not down. I am working on cold medicine, so forgive for any cheesy jokes, because that's the Tylenol cold kicking in. There's actually a whole bunch of things happening, DCC, for the auction. It's not just the game itself. I will make sure I have the Mace link in there. The game itself is just one of the many things being auctioned off. And it is also something where I am not the one in control of this whole thing. I am being brought in as a special guest. So what you can always do is join the Facebook group for Mace, and if you have suggestions or you would like to donate something for the auction, by all means, hop on over. I'm sure they'd actually be very pleased to hear from people. So there is more to it. Do I need some more coffee? I don't drink coffee. I drink tea. Yeah, so DCC, just go to, I'll put the link in the description after this is done. Or if you're on Facebook, you can go to Mace, M-A-C-E, all capital. And you can find their group through that. Or the company is called Just, like the word J-U-S-T, Us, U-S Productions. You could do a Google search on that right now because, like I said, I'll get the link in there later. But if you want immediate gratification, you're going to have to Google it. But yeah, no, I am not a coffee drinker. Coffee, I don't like how it makes me feel. It gets me almost too jacked up, and then I get really queasy from it. So I stick to my nice little bits of tea. Let's see here. Yeah, so DCC, you can go onto Google and find their main website, and you can reach them that way too. Yeah, this is one of those minis where I know a lot of people have it, and it's one that we've kind of been eyeing as well. And I say we, meaning me and my husband, not as a royal we. So it was one of those things where we saw it come in and knew this one was getting bumped up on the list of things we wanted to get painted for our campaign and stuff. Because we have actually, for the family campaign, run into a couple of Griffons already. So it would be helpful to have him painted up for when we could potentially encounter them more. And like I said, it's sort of like dry brushing, it's just a little bit more heavy-handed with it. Because I'm not trying to look to fill up every last detail with this paint and make it extremely flat. Okay, I'm liking how that's looking. There we go. Focus. See, I got the ring light has arrived finally, so I'm still playing with lighting now, and of course it's, there we go. It's tinkered with my settings, so I'm gonna have to reevaluate settings. Oh my goodness, need a drink again. It's just not a drink, but just seltzer water. Yes, Sarah has a fantastic dice accessory company, Eris Designs. You need to check it out because she makes these fantastic dice trays, dice bags, these little keyring things that can carry your dice at the same time. Very cool stuff. So yeah, I don't know if you can put links in the chat because we've had issues. Well, I've had issues in the past of interesting links being put into the chat that you don't want in there. Let's see here. It's a good sculpt, and I probably need a couple more for my current campaign. Yeah, I gotta say, it's actually a very decent sculpt. I was surprised that there's really no mold lines, at least with the one I got. I can't see any mold lines, and I'm like, I gotta get rid of this, which is, you know, a good thing, a great thing, a happy thing. Here, we'll have them face forward so you're not having to look at the keister. Let me go back to my photo. Okay, so that takes care of the underside. Now I'm gonna switch over to the above side. So this is where I'm shifting now for my reference. Like I said, you can really see difference between the tones from the front of the wings and the back of the wings. All right, so for this, it looks like I am jumping into the dark brown, which is kind of what I expected. Ring light, Halo. Yeah, there's different names for it. Halo, I believe, is the company. You can't, Sarah. I don't think you can put links in. I could, but I don't think other people can. I think it's only admins are allowed to, or moderators in my chats, because of the very interesting issue we had a few live streams back, and that live stream is not for public view anymore because of it. Thank you very much, weirdos. I'm just reading through the chat right now. This one's not. This one needs more shaking. And I'm going to be using charred brown. Hey, we're to a expectedly normal name, charred brown. There we go. Over here. That was just evidence of my slight obsessive compulsiveness where I had to put the one color further back on the browns. Just me. You don't have to do that. Yeah, once you start getting the base colors on, it does come together, and it does help to have sort of an idea of where you want to paint it, rather than sitting down and be like, I think I'll do this, I think I'll do that, and all that wonderfulness. For the basing, I always tend to go a little overboard for my bases. Big surprise. I mean, there were 2 whole live streams dedicated to the Blue Dragons base. But I'm really happy with how that one came out. And yes, the stones on that are going to be done for a video, not next week, but the week after. Or no, take that back, 3 weeks out. 3 weeks out. Because I have some cool stuff happening. And then if you're in my Facebook group, I just announced the Craftober build off, which is a Haunted Mansion theme. And it's just something fun and silly to do together to kind of have fun with October, because, you know, the big joke is that in October we get all these really cool bits that come out because of Halloween decorations and whatever, so you can find some really good crafting props by going to like Dollar Tree, Dollar General, Spirit Store, Halloween Store, everything like that. Halloween's just a great time to grab fodder for crafting, I will say that. But yeah, in the Facebook group I just announced the build off, and it's one of those things where it's just for fun. There's no like, oh, you have to subscribe, you have to get to a certain amount of followers, blah, no, nothing like that. It's literally just, this is what you have to use, these are the requirements, this is when you have to submit your final picture, and then the group will vote on which one they feel is the winner, and the winner will get, when they come in, one of the Muse D6 die, which was showing up on a little picture thing over here that you can check out. So if you want into the group, I will put the link for the group in there. However, you need to answer both questions. I keep saying that, but people don't believe me. If both questions are not answered, your application is declined. For no other reason than you didn't answer both questions. So do make sure if you go to do that, that you, pardon me, hold on, gotta cough, that you answer both of those. Okay? You're welcome. You just have to answer questions. And they're not hard questions either. That's the other thing. They're pretty straightforward. Granted, I'm not going to give you the answers, because that's how easy they are. Yeah, it was a stream that was not good. Let's put it that way. Certain people who you don't want that type hanging out with you jumped in, and unfortunately that stream had to go to the wayside. But I'd much rather that than have the things that were said being there out for public viewing, because I do have younger children actually who will watch the channel, and knowing that I try and keep things on the channel pretty PG-13 if possible. Basically, if it's something I don't want my kids hearing, I'm not going to be having it on the channel, to be fair. Alright. So, stop here so you can see now I have the one wing. There we go. So right now it looks like a very flat brown, but the back of its wings for the red-tailed hawk, it has these speckles of white and everything. So I'm going to go through with the brown. Again, I'm not going super heavy-handed with this because I don't want to fill in all those feather details. There's going to be an ink wash of a deep brown, and then I'll go back in and I'll start adding in those highlights later. Let's see here. Fire High wants to know if I ever think about becoming a voice actor. My cousin is a voice actor, actually, and I have another cousin who is an actress. So I won't say that it isn't in the blood, but in terms of becoming a voice actor, probably not, no. That's why I have fun with playing games now, because I can tap that into the games for characters. Because I do like sitting there thinking about different voices I can do for the different characters. Pippa was fun. She was a fun one to bring voices to, because it was fun kind of putting on that Staten Island accent. You know, she's a tough girl. She's seen some things in her life. But yeah, actually trying to get into it, probably not. This is, you know, the channel stuff keeps me busy, family life keeps me busy. I think I'd have to make a clone for that to happen, quite frankly. Yeah, the feather details, I was going to say the feather details. No, those are, they're pretty sharp. They really WizKids did a great job with this sculpt. I'm going to be perfectly frank. I'm going to need to get some more paint though. And again, with what I'm doing with this, it's more of the like 70 to 80% coverage here because again, I did that black wash initially to bring up those details. I don't want to hide it all completely with a thick layer of paint. I'm going to just rinse the brush off. I'm going to add some more. And we got about 20 minutes left. Yeah, that should work out. 20 minutes left. I should definitely get him all painted up and drying and get the ink wash on, and then we'll call it a day, and I'll see you next Wednesday for finishing him up probably. Yeah, the feathers are... I have a complete love for wings of all kinds and cloaks or like voluminous bits of fabric because I love bringing out those details big time. Some minis I spend way longer than I need to because I want to bring out the folds of the fabric and the highlighting and all of that. So I knew when I saw this guy, I'm like, he's gonna be fun to paint. But I am quite happy with my light because it's the first time in a long time I've been able to come downstairs. I did film the intro for the next video, and I did not have to play around with the light settings at all outside of adjusting the white balance on my camera because, you know, pale person who's sick and extremely pale now as a result of being sick. That was just like, wow. But this has a nice filter where it makes it more of a warm light, so all I had to do was pop that on and adjust my white balance. It was good. I stop at around 1. For the lunch breaks, I try and keep them about an hour long for these live streams, and I'll just carry the project over until the next live stream is sort of how I'm getting this set up. And then announce at the end of the completed project what I'll be working on for the next one. And that way it just makes it a nice and easygoing get-together where people can just kind of sit and chat, take a little time, see what's up, hear what's going on. Now I am going to paint the tip of the tail of this guy with that charred brown as well, because if you look at lions, that's kind of how their tails work. It's got a darker coloring on them. Oof. Fun angles, not really. How am I supposed to reach that one? Now we're going to go between the legs. Why not? That's probably the best approach right now. And I know there is the 3-foot rule when you're going to put your mini on the table. So I still go a little overboard sometimes with details. But it's because I'll pick them up when I look closely at them. Is really what's going on. Alright, so that takes care of back wings. Let's do this. Come on. Show off your gorgeous self. Yeah, I can tell I need to play with these camera settings a little bit now that I have the better lighting overhead. There we go. There we go. Okay, so yeah, he's got that brown going. Yeah, I gotta say, I do like this light. I did pop off the warm filter on it just because it made this guy look orange. And he's the star of the show. He's the one that I want the colors showing up. And now, I'm gonna go through and do what I was saying before on the tips of the wings. But what I'm gonna try and do here, there we go, is kind of give it like either an oval shape or like a little bit of a V shape in the coverage I'm doing, so it mimics, oh, timed out. It mimics what's going on underneath. I even go so far as to get like a little detail brush out and do that little tip. Yeah, Chad, I agree. It's more for the person doing the painting than it is for the people at the table. Because more often than not, the people at the table are like, wow, that's cool, I like the way it looks, and that's the end of it, whereas you will sit there and spend hours with this creature, making it come to life, so it's a little bit more personal. Absolutely. you can see here that I'm taking care of the tips of the inside of the wings. And it's the longer ones that I'm working on. There we go. We're getting somewhere with this. Ooh, you know what? We're moving to a detail brush. I can't reach it with a wide brush. Come on, you guys know I already use my mouth to wet down my brushes. I don't want to stop and put down a mini. There you go, we'll just blame it on intense focus. Alright, so I will say the inner. That's going to be a tricky reach. There we go. There we go. Haha! And since I'm here, okay, yeah, that's the basic effect I want. And since this is a base coat, it's not going to look perfectly pretty quite yet because there's more that's going into it later on down the line. I'm going to paint this. This is where the angles of things get fun. Yeah, I'm going to have to hold them like this. Now I'm really glad I did the hindquarters first. So that's essentially what's balancing in my hand right now. If you do decide you do the whole hold it on top of a pill bottle trick, it helps to if you can find the ones where like it's the childproof caps, because the caps has been around for you, so you can swirl it around. It also helps put a little weight into the bottle itself, whether it's sand or you could do coins, but the rattling, my god, the rattling would get on my nerves really quick. And they do sell specialty holders you can purchase from different companies. There's so many out there. If you have a 3D printer, you can get one. There's just a plethora of options. Yeah, it's a sacrifice we make for pointy brushes, exactly. I got it, you know, it's something I've been doing since I was, God, 12 with painting. So, talk about a hard habit to break. That's basically a lifestyle. You know, yeah, you can roll it on something. I just find the tips don't quite get the right form that way. And don't forget, you are going to need to go in and just kind of get like the edges of these as well. Too much. There we go. Almost there. Edge I gotta cover there. But yes, the what normally is a Sunless Citadel tomorrow on Mini Terrain Domain is going to be a one-shot deal, and we get to bring in, it's going to be different characters, so it's not going to be my playing Cantriel. I'm actually going to be bringing out the character I play for our family campaign, and her name is Teresia. I'm very excited to pull Teresia out to play because I'm looking forward to seeing how I can play this character with a different group of people in a different campaign setting, so that's going to be fun. What did Sarah do? Naturally Faye. Well, no one said you had to do that for your ears. Did they? Maybe they did. Endpoint, yep. Someone did. Vince did. What pointy ears? I have no idea what you're talking about. None. nothing about these pointy ears. That's the one thing I didn't think was going to be such a big hit, were those pointy ears that I wear for games, because those are headphones. They're not just prosthetic pretty things. They have a function to them. So started wearing those, and I have a lot of fun wearing them, and ta-da! But with these live streams, I don't need to have headphones on because I have everything set up. All right, I'm just going back through, and what I'm basically doing is, I went out of frame there, painting up the edges, but this gives you an idea of how things are looking there. And then come on. And you kind of get the idea of what I'm doing there. The rainbow is natural too. Yes. Taste the rainbow. So I'm going to go through and I'm going to get the edge wings. Not the edge wings, the edge feathers over here. And I have switched to a more fine tipped brush instead. So I can keep the paint more along the lines of where I want it to go. Ooh. All right. This guy's got to come up close and personal, so he's going to be like right here, because I need to see this better. Out of one frame into the next. Because that's a wonky angle. I'm glad you like the way he looks so far. He's just starting. Wait until he gets more colors on him. Because there's definitely a swath of colors that I have not even tapped into yet. You just ate a lot of Skittles and it happened. Well, there you go. If you want to get pointy ears, eat a lot of Skittles. Although, I will say, I am still, and I probably will forever hold it against them, they changed the flavor of green to like apple. It's no longer lime, and I am not happy about that. It's just not the same anymore. Because I used to do, like, you know, you can mix your colors together and get different flavors. I miss the lime. Especially because you could do orange, yellow, and green together, and it was yummy. Now I wouldn't recommend doing that color combination. Nope. Yep, I'm weird. The little things get on my nerves, like, you know, changing the flavor of the green Skittle. How dare they? How dare they? But yeah, the red-tailed hawk has a very dark brown head with some highlighting in it. So I'm going to get this brown, and then we'll go back in with the details next week. And again, I'm staying off the beak right now because the beak is actually, what I'll do is I'll go back to the bone white. The beak is more whites and grays and blacks than anything else on the bird. Oh, the hair was rainbow in Skittles? There you go. Although it does make sense that Skittles would make your ears go pointy. You know, because there's magic to them. Taste the rainbow. It'll all work out in the wash, right? Yeah, I'm definitely going to play around with these camera settings for next week so it doesn't keep going blur mode. Actually, nah. A famous. He's getting there. Oh, come on. This is going to be not so fun. Yeah, definitely a couple of interesting angles to work in. Patience and a light touch. There we go. That's better. That's better. 3D printed a huge orcas. But he came out looking pretty cool. We do have a big print going on right now, but the printer is not running this week simply because that is not my toy. That is someone else's toy. Because these are definitely far more narrow, I am working a little bit more brown in there. Okay, that's starting to take shape. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to get the beak with bone white, same thing for the claws here, and then I'm going to do the ink wash, and then I think we'll have to call it a day on him for that. You don't like to paint 3D miniature. Terrain, yeah. There's a few tricks you can do with painting 3D minis. What I'll do often with ours is just take Mod Podge and put a coat of that on first, because it helps sort of fill in the layer gaps that happen naturally with 3D printing. That helps with some of the minis when it comes time to paint them. Alright, so I'm just going back to bone white, and I'm just going to paint his claws bone white, because I don't want to leave it mini white. And I definitely won't leave it so it's a pure white. That's going to be too stark of a look for this type of a predator. Flip. There you go, he's getting his manicure. Or is it a pedicure? Manicure or pedicure? What would we call that? Getting quiet because I'm concentrating. Be very, very quiet. She's painting tiny details. Now, if you guys enjoy watching minis get painted, do be sure to check out Game Trade Media, because they have a show called Happy Little Minis, and if you're in my group, you'll see that when I get the notification, I'll post when they're on, because I enjoy watching them paint. It's usually 2 to 3 people painting miniatures and chatting about what's going on and everything like that. I thoroughly enjoy it. So if you haven't heard about this channel, Game Trade Media, or of their group Happy Little Minis, do check them out. I believe I will be painting with Rick at PAX, which should be fun. Pedicure, feet, well, that's just it. I mean, it could be argued that his front claws are used in hand-like motions. So where would you determine it? Semantics, I tell you, semantics. All right, now he does have claws in the hindquarters, so I'm going to take the bone white. I'm just going to gently take some of that and just tip it across to bring out the back claws, which in this case, yes, it's a pedicure. He's getting his pedicure right now. There we go. And then finally, I'm going to do the beak. I like how every time I say beak, I'm like trying to make a beak shape. And I am going to blend this slightly into, yeah, I'm going to blend this slightly into the brown, because they have a bit more of this that goes up into their feathers. So I'm just going to do this. But I'm going to, no pun intended, going to feather in the bone white into the face area. So you're going to take the color from the beak into the feathers that frame the brow and the cheeks around the beak. And as for that tongue, that's going to be one of those, do it at the end. Here we go. We're getting there. Yep. Okay. So that should give you a sense of his face, which I'm sure looks really weird right now, but once we get the ink on there, it's going to bring out the details again. But this is basically his base coloring that we have going on. So he's got these dark brown wings, which I'm going to bring out some white details on after the fact. And then they tend to get a little bit more colorful underneath. So these are our base colors. He's not done. If you're watching this and you're like, that's not finished, you're right, it's not. Oh, God. If the Griffin starts talking to me, I've taken too much cold medicine. What does the Griffin say? Squawk. Yes. Yeah, I don't know if you follow me on Twitter, you would have seen last night. I am sitting there. I'm just going to let this dry a little bit before I do the ink wash, and then we'll call it a day. But last night I'm sitting, I kicked the camera. I was sitting on our couch and I had the windows open because it was, you know, kind of a nice night. A little bit of drizzle, but nothing too bad. And just relaxing, just goofing around on Twitter, everything like that. And then there is a fox in our neighborhood. And the fox decided at around 10 o'clock last night to just start doing their fox call thing that they love to do. And it is this terrifying, horrible thing that can catch you by surprise if you're not expecting it, because it sounds like a woman screaming, like a woman in trouble screaming. And it shot off a few rounds of the scream. It was one of those things you're like, what? But decided to do it. It must have been in the middle of our backyard, which is probably about 30 feet away from the window that I had open. So it was loud. One of those things I was like, ah. Well, thank you, Chet. Idea for the lair of the Griffin. Make it a red and white bucket with KFC on it, please. No, we don't eat the Griffins. No, 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 no. Not the precious Griffins. We're not going to do that. I just want them to dry a little bit more before I do this ink. Pardon me. So sorry for the cough. Although, that would be a funny mini to make. A bucket of KFC for your weary adventurers. Didn't someone do that? Or something similar to that? I wonder if Jasmine's done something like that. I'd have to look and see, but no, that would be a funny mini to green stuff. Oh, thank you, sir. I'm glad I'm streaming too. Like I said, it's something I'm going to start doing just every Wednesday for funsies, because why not? And it's nice to see people from Europe being able to jump in to discuss. All right, so this one's almost dry. I'm almost comfortable putting the ink on it. So, as I mentioned before, if you're not in my Facebook group, you are welcome to join. Join. God. Make sure you answer the 2 entry questions when you go to join, though, because if you don't answer both of them, you're not getting in. Link will be in the description, probably in about a half hour after this is done. Let's see what else. Don't forget to check things out. Mini Terrain Domain. He is here on YouTube. He's also there on Twitch. And what else am I thinking about? Oh, I'll make sure all the other stuff is in the links and stuff that we need for later on. But what I'm gonna do now is, where'd it go? Nope, that is pure black. I don't want to do pure black. That's for the eyes later. Okay, so I'm going to use this smoky ink. Please play nicely. Well, there we go. Smoky ink. Inks are a little bit more pigmented than washes, I will say that, but they flow in very nicely. So I'm going to use this guy, and I do tend to put a little bit of water in with the ink because of their intensity. But it looks like a paint. It doesn't act like a paint. It does some very different things. So that's the ink blot right there. Haha, ink blot. Well, I'm glad this time worked out for you today. That's what matters. And I'm going to just add a little bit in here. Doo-doo-doo-doo-doo. Okay, so this is basically just going to go into the crevices of everything. So it's sort of like a pre-wash in a way. And I usually just do a little bit at a time for the ink. Like, I wouldn't go a whole bunch of drops, because a little can go a long way, or you might want to do more heavy-handed than you were anticipating. It really just all depends on things. But because this is such a thin medium, it doesn't bunch up or clog up or anything like that, but it gets the color down deeper, which is awesome. All right, so we have the two wings. Why do you want to play? Like, you're playing around today. There we go. So you can see the shift. And now you're thinking of fried chicken. Chicky bok. Well, KFC is still around, right? Yeah. I think we still have one in town. We know what everyone's having for lunch. Or maybe dinner. Maybe dinner at this rate if people have already had their lunch. Or it could be lunch for people later on tomorrow. Who knows? No, don't apologize for it. It was actually pretty funny. So yeah, basically what I'm going to do is just go around and get him covered entirely with this. I am going to start in the brown first. And then I'll work it into the other colors, and I do need more. We'll do 2 drops this time to be safe. Because those feathers take up a lot. That's too thick. But thank you to everyone who joined me today. If you need to get going, it is past 1 o'clock. I'm aware of that. So thank you for joining me. If you have to get back to work because this is the lunch hour break, you are welcome to go. I will take pictures of him once he's all dried so you can see where he is. And then next Wednesday, I will be back here getting him finished up, and I will be doing highlighting. I will be doing finer details. I'll be bringing out more details in these fantastic wings. And I think that's about it. And then we'll decide what would be a fun mini to move on to after that, after this guy gets done. I don't think I'll do anything in terms of major with his base. Like, I'll jazz it up a little bit and put him on something else. But I don't think it's going to be something where it's going to get its own separate build. Just because I don't see anything too fantastic going on, because what I don't want to do with him is detract from him and give him a base that's sort of overpowering. So yeah, so I'm not going to do a special stream for his base. The dragon, yes, the dragon, he was awesome in of himself. He needed a nice, cool looking base. This guy can fly on his own, let's put it that way. Ha 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 ha. Sitting there with a rumbly tumbly and we're talking about food. Yes, that's a common hazard. This is where you really see the ink kind of take effect. I love this part. How to make V happy. Give her ink. Because that just works its magic. Oh, I love it when something does exactly what I knew it would do. No surprises here, and I'm happy about that one. Oh, come on. You focused right away, and then you took it away from me. Yoink. Hello. Play nice. Yeah. Like I said, I'm going to take some pictures so you can see, but you can see how the ink doesn't fully change the color, it changes the tone. But this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to go through and get this ink everywhere else. Let him thoroughly dry. And then we'll have some fun with him next week, for sure. Yes, bye DCC. Thank you for joining. Hopefully I caught you before you left. I do like to try and say goodbye when I can. The other experiment I have coming up, we'll see how well it works. I do want to try and do simulcasting to here and a Twitch channel. So that when I do these, it'll go up on Twitch and on YouTube. But I need to play around with a program first and get a feel for it before I start saying that's definitely something that I'm going to start doing. Right now it's an in theory concept. So we'll see. Hopefully I can do that. Because that would be pretty awesome, so I'm not having to save and then upload and everything like that. They can just go at the same time and they'll be done at the same time, and huzzah. Really the only big change is that the cycling promo stuff will have on Twitch as well. Oh man, look at that ink take. Hooray! And obviously when it comes time to highlighting, I will bring back the bone white with the dry brushing. But right now what I'm doing is I'm really working on getting the details of the feathers enhanced with the ink. Bring that down the foot yet? I don't know. Yeah, there we go, I didn't. Definitely did not get the foot yet. I'm telling you, the angles this guy has though. Crazy. Yeah, I like playing with colors. Colors are fun. And that's why inks are fun to play with and washes are fun to play with, because you can sort of customize your very own color blends once you get an idea of how each of them functions on their own and how they can then work with others. Because it's cool like that. Now in the hindquarters. Of course, the ones I'm getting right now are hard to see because of the angle of the feathers. Oh, good, I'm about to finish and the neighbor is getting their lawn mowed. Just in time. I can never tell when they're going to stop by either, otherwise I try and schedule around when they're expected. Alright, we are almost done. Just a couple more spots to get and then he'll just dry and then we'll come back to him and see what we can do. Let me get the tail. Which again has all these funky angles. Oh, and the face. Actually, let me thin out this a little bit. Oh, hi Adam, and thank you. I'm glad you made your way over here. Do you have Scotty? Yes. Scotty's a buddy. I'm actually looking forward to being able to hang out with him again in November when we go to Mace. Should be a lot of fun. Well, I know it's going to be a lot of fun. Not should be. It will be a lot of fun. All right. We're going to call him. Hold on. You know what I'm going to do? Where is it? Let me get my little thing to kind of blur out the background. Here we go. This will work. Hopefully. Theoretically. All right. So yes, Adam, thank you for stopping by, and the channel is there for you to enjoy, obviously. Try this trick, see if it's focusing on too much behind it. There we go. So there's its face and the feathers. And you can see all these really cool colors that are being pulled together now because of the ink. The ink sort of acts as a blending agent. It unifies the tone of the browns is really what's happened, because you've gone from a cooler brown of the back of the wings and the warm browns underneath, and the ink kind of gives them all a base tone. But this... Hi, honey! That's my husband. Thanks for stopping in. He's on travel. But yeah, so this is the red-tailed hawk griffon. So the ink has to dry. I can't do anything else with them probably for a good couple hours, which really won't be until next week anyways. So thank you so much, everyone, for stopping by. I will put him back in screen. I will let you know when to expect pictures for him, and I'll get them up probably on Twitter and also on my Facebook page and in the Facebook group once the ink is dried, because right now it's got a lot of glare to it from the moisture. And if you have any questions about this while I was working, you need reinforcement of certain colors, I will be putting the color list into the description so you can go back and reference those, and we'll take it from there next Wednesday. So thank you for joining me. Have a great day, and don't forget to stop by tomorrow night on Mini Terrain Domain, where I'll be playing, not Cantriel, Teresia. I get to play Teresia, my elf ranger. That'll be fun. When I said, oh, Ko-Fi's. Is it Ko-Fi or Coffee? I don't know how to pronounce those things, but Ko-Fi. That is in the description already. The whole Patreon and the Ko-Fi Coffee links as well are there if you need them. So that is it from me. V-Vision will be happening soon because of the generous support and donations from other people. I really do appreciate that. And that V-Vision is the whole getting a GoPro. That's what they're talking about in the chat for those of you reading the chat and watching this as well. But yes, I'm going to sign off now. Thank you, everyone. And I think that's it. So I'm gonna go over to the end screen and you have a lovely day. On a 1,